All right, friends, it's Cena back with another video, and I'm going to do a quick recap of this guy here, High Intensity Health. So he says it's another information slave, fake info slave, I would call him. Why isn't this front page news? Diet and depression. Another guy, man, come on. Sugar and depression. Why? Like, I don't understand this guy. Like, you didn't know that sugar is a drug and it makes you depressed and everything. It's not your natural diet. Think about this. What would you be eating if you lived in nature? What would you eat out there? Exactly. Animals. And you'd eat them raw and their organs and drink their blood. That's what you'd be eating out there in nature. There ain't no sugar. There's nothing out there, bro. You wouldn't be eating sugar or anything like that. You understand me? So him telling you sugar and depression, yeah, if it's unnatural, it's not part of your natural food or environment or whatever you're doing, of course it's depressing. It's artificial. If it's artificial, it comes along with every other bad things, like he says here, diabetes, depression, a bunch of things. No kidding. Let's review this video.
If you suffer from anxiety, depression, or any mood disorder, you should know that your underlying metabolic health impacts the state of your mood. In today's show, we're going to...
No, really? You don't say. Are you serious, man? So if I eat an artificial diet, living in this artificial dome, this city, living an artificial lifestyle, chasing artificial shit like money and products and weird things and just enjoying this habitat here. You think I'm not going to pay the consequences for living this artificial lifestyle? You all are. It's the whole point.
Talk more about the connections between blood sugar health, metabolic health.
You want to know who brought you into this, who created this environment that you live in now, that you're so unnatural, you're not even in your natural habitat anymore? They won't even let you loose out there anymore. Why? They won't let you loose out there. It's the crazy people that run the world. Bill Gates is insane. He's another insane person. All these billionaires are insane. They're insane people. You understand me? There's a construct of all of this. They got all these other normal people in on it, on their insanity. Hitler was insane. Who followed him? Everybody. They follow insane leaders, insane people, insane leaders. Look at the American leader now. Who is he? Joe Biden. The guy's senile. He's insane. He's senile, insane. He can barely move, walk. He can barely speak. And everybody's following this imbecile. What does that say about society? You understand me? They'll make you sick on top of it. Like this guy, he's sick too.
And depression, drawing upon evidence from two recently published narrative review articles, one of which is titled Diabetes Mellitus Type 2 as an Underlying Comorbid or Consequent State of Mental Disorders. The investigators...
There you go. It's a state of mental disorders. The moment you start going artificial, you get even more mental disorders, and more of these people are becoming mentally ill and sick and doing mentally ill, crazy things. They pursue all these crazy things, bro. Get it? And then they say people who are not pursuing it, they must be mentally ill. You understand what I'm explaining to you? If you're a natural person pursuing natural things in a natural world, you are mentally ill. But if you pursue all these fake artificial things, you must be sane. All of these people who are pursuing artificial things are fucking insane, out of their mind. And they've been dragged by other insane people to believe that I gotta do this, I gotta do that to get healthy, I gotta eat that, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta go to my slave job, my slave school, get my slave pay, and go to my slave store, eat my slave food, bro. You understand me? And see my slave friends and all that, and do all these weird things and holidays and weird festivals and weird shit, bro. It's just a whole bunch of weird artificial things. It's one big circle of insanity you live in. That's why people living so unnaturally, they become insane themselves. Society is sick now. They become so sick, they're infertile. They suffer from all kinds of metabolic and weird diseases, neurological, you name it. It's just going in a handbasket. How much longer can this society sustain itself? Well, they said they couldn't figure out why these Aztec cities and Mayan cities dispersed. What happened to all the people? Because it wasn't sustainable. They went mad and they all ran off into the jungle. You understand me? Going back to their natural habitat, natural lifestyle. Because what was happening in those cities were unnatural because they were run by who? People that were insane and had insane ideas. Because it's not natural.
say depression has also been shown to be nearly 2 and 3 times more common in patients with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, respectively, meaning that if you have poor metabolic health, your risk for developing depression, anxiety, and having mood disorders is orders of magnitude higher compared to if you don't have metabolic health issues. Now,
Yeah.
last time,
You want to know the cure? It's really simple. You wouldn't be suffering from any of that. Nobody's putting a gun to your head to eat this artificial food or live this artificial lifestyle. Nobody is forcing you to do that. You understand me? You're doing it on your own volition. If you stop doing it, everything stops. But you can't stop because of your addictions. They got you addicted, hooked. Get it, man? You enjoy destroying yourself. And then you want to blame it on old age or something, some fake thing, or the government or somebody. It's your own fault. Nobody put a gun to your head to eat that shit.
remind you, data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, the NHANES data. This is a large ongoing epidemiological
Oh, yes. The NHANES data, yes. Epidemiological orders, yes.
study has found that 96% of Americans have some degree of poor metabolic health.
Yes, 96% of Americans have some poor health. Why do they have poor health? Why do they have poor? I thought they're all going to the gym. They're exercising. They're doing all these things, running down the street and everything. That's going to improve their health, isn't it? Everybody's a gym goer. Everybody's at Victani's.
Predisposing a supermajority of the population to having mental health challenges involving depression, suicide.
Oh, they have all these mental health challenges, depression, suicide. Why? Why do they want to suicide themselves and depression, all this? Because they live in an unnatural world. They're in a zoo. And they want to get out of the zoo, but they don't know how to.
Ideology, anxiety, and various mood disorders. Now, a lot of people
Mood disorders, anxieties, because of this environment that you live in. That's the cause of it. The food plays definitely a part, but the rest is caused by the environment too.
say that depression runs in their family, but it's important to acknowledge that there is no genetic basis or connection between type 2 diabetes.
Because they want to blame it on somebody. It's genetic. It runs in the family. Yeah. I'm just killing myself with drugs and smoking and doing weird things and everything and eating on a natural diet. But it's a genetic thing. It's my family. It's because of them I'm getting these heart attacks and all these problems, my friend. Yes.
And depression. So what does that mean? That means our lifestyle, our dietary choices, the foods we eat, the exercises that we do or don't do, our sleep habits, our circadian rhythm, all influence our metabolic health.
Oh, the circadian rhythm, the exercise, the eating, the sleeping, and all of this. You wouldn't have to worry about all these things if you didn't do all these artificial things to your body, to it. It is only meant to keep you alive. But if you don't want it to be alive, then you should do all these artificial things and it will not be alive anymore.
Which influences our brain health. So the scientists talk about the shared etiological factors for the comorbid connection between diabetes and depression and poor metabolic health. And
Yes, diabetes and poor depression, all that. Just go to your doctor. He's going to give you, an insulin shot, bro, and you're going to be fine, right? Yeah, bro. You got these doctors, they're going to give you drugs, more synthetic drugs, more artificial drugs, artificial food, artificial lifestyle. Yeah, more artificial stuff.
depression, considering multiple organ systems, including the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, cortisol.
Even your clothes affect you, man. They have like glyphosate and poisons and toxins in there. Then they make it out of plastic and you're wearing plastic clothes, synthetic clothes. That's all too is getting to your health. Why? Because it's unnatural to wear these clothes. In nature, you'd kill animals and you'd dry out the leather and the fur and you'd wear the animal pelts. You'd wear the fur and everything because it's natural. You understand me? What you're wearing is unnatural. Yeah.
Release. We also
Anything from plants are bad for you.
have hyperreactivity of the autonomic nervous system, causing people to be overly anxious.
We discovered this thousands and thousands of years ago. We ate animals and then we used the bones as tools and we used their skin as clothing to keep us warm. Yes.
And have excessive cortisol and adrenaline pathways going, catecholamine signaling, as well as inflammatory processes. I think that's not acknowledged or talked about enough, but it's quite common when you see people run their labs that they're
This is one of the most unnatural slaves I've ever seen out there. I've done videos before on my old channel. My old channel's gone. But I did stuff when he was doing that shit, remember? And there was a video recently too about him when he was, I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's a starvation diet. He stopped doing these unnatural things because he's a slave. You understand me? He's an unnatural slave. is what he is.
C-reactive protein is increasing, and they feel really terrible. They feel down. They feel lethargic. They have malaise. Well, think about when you get sick. Do you feel really excited and enthusiastic? Well, when you're sick, you're generally more inflamed. Well, part of the malaise that accompanies...
When you're sick, you're inflamed. You're not sick. You're making yourself sick because of what you're putting in the pie hole. What is this guy talking about? Bodies are not sick. They're meant to keep you alive. They would never make you sick. You understand me? This is stupid.
Sickness is inflammation. So if you're chronically inflamed from meta-inflammation, from metabolic inflammation, insulin resistance.
Metabolic inflammation, insulin resistant. If you eat your natural diet, none of these things will affect you.
The fat around the middle, all of that, that is going to increase inflammatory signal.
The fat around the middle, everything's going to increase inflammatory responses. This guy is just going on and on and on. It's just so depressing to watch this. It should be called Depressing Slave.
Pathways and cause you to feel lousy, depressed, possibly anxious, unmotivated. And this is like a vicious cycle of a snowball rolling downhill, collecting more and more momentum. Because what happens? Well, people feel depressed and anxious, so they self-medicate with hyperpalatable, ultra-processed foods.
He's giving you all this fake info, man. Why can't he just tell you what to do? Why can't he tell you what you should be doing instead of telling you all the things? You're getting these inflammatory responses, your belly's getting big and everything. He talked about sugar already. Why didn't he tell you what to do? Don't eat it, and it'll all go away. But he's telling you all these things. Inflammatories, and the belly is hurting, and getting diseases, and you're falling apart, and there's like diabetes and all this and everything. What is he talking about? Bodies don't give you any of these diseases. Hello? It's obviously the sugar. So what do you need to do? Stop eating the sugar. Why does he need to make what is this, 10-minute long, I think it's 10-minute long video, talking about nonsense? Doesn't make any sense. Can you tell us what's the cure? Stop eating it.
Go out and have indulgent meals. Maybe go get a soda pop. Maybe go to Jack in the Box or McDonald's.
Now he's telling you to eat shit again. He's telling you the cure. Go have a soda, go to Jack in the Box and eat this fake food. Eat more artificial food. That will make you better. What?
McDonald's, or go have ice cream or binge on pizza. And that only worsens the problem, adding kerosene.
Oh, okay. It says if you are binging on these things, that worsens the problem. Well, yeah, that kind of does, doesn't it?
To a fire. So it's important to acknowledge that if you suffer from any anxiety, depression, or mental health issue, that you focused on metabolic health. And this has been talked about for a very long time.
It's really simple, the solution. Doctor, every time I eat anything with sugar in it, I'm sick. Don't eat that.
Palmer recently has written...
and then the first thing they say, but I can't. Okay, then you can't. You are right that you can, and you're right that you can't. You're always right.
Talked a lot about this and has been featured on Andrew Huberman and various other podcasts and has a great book about this.
That's all they ever talk about. Huberman, this, that, ball. They never truly give you the solution to anything. They tell you many videos on building muscle, but in the end, they never tell you how to get over myonuclear domain size to really build muscle, because they're all the same like you, a slave, an info slave, fake info slave. Yeah, an unnatural fake info slave.
If you want to dive into that. But it's important that this connection has been long established in the literature, and it's just now making its way into layman discord, which I think is really important to recognize and acknowledge. But there's also other tools that we can embark on to improve metabolic health as well as mental health, and that's why I'm such a big fan of sauna. And I want to thank this video show sponsor, BonCharge.com, the maker.
So the solution is keep eating the sugar, go into the sauna. And he has a coupon code, HIH, for that. Bond charge, yes. So go into a sauna. I'm a big advocate of it. And keep poisoning yourself with sugar. This is the solution.
Of the hottest yet lowest EMF sauna blankets on the marketplace. This sauna blanket gets up to 170 degrees Fahrenheit.
Why the hell would you want that, man? You don't need that at all.
It's really small and compact. You can use this while you OnCharge.com/HIH. So going back to the connection between metabolic health, I think this is really important to acknowledge. I myself in college suffered from depression, and I wish I knew this information back then, because I would self-medicate with food, with sugar.
He self-medicated with food. Sugar is not a food. Sugar is a drug. It's kind of obvious. You are like, look, when you're eating these artificial foods like fruits and vegetables, you're thinking you're able to to get to the nutrients, and you think that your body will filter out the sugar and the toxins, when in fact your body can't filter out the toxins or the sugar, so you never can get to the nutrients inside the plant. And so yeah, that's why you eat meat. There's no interference, there's no sugar, there's no toxins, so your body is able to go directly and absorb the nutrients in meat. In plants, you can't do that. You can't filter out the sugar or the toxins. So you could never get to the nutrients. That's why they call it anti-nutrient. And the sugar makes you insulin resistant. So you got two problems. This is insane.
Things like that. And I didn't know that there was a connection between the things that I was eating and how lousy I was feeling. And I think many people suffer from this. We all see this at the grocery store.
Okay, then you learn. Once you suffer, you learn. You learn not to eat that again. Stop eating that. I did that. That's how I learned from my experiences. You should too.
People look anxious or depressed or lonely. They're getting ice cream, they're getting pizza, they're getting these sweets, these hyperpalatable foods, which are...
Yes, they're getting drugs because they're addicted to drugs. This artificial lifestyle is a drug. You're in a world of drugs, bro.
Are only adding, as I mentioned, kerosene to a fire. So it turns out that there's ample evidence. There was a recently published paper in 2022 titled "The Nexus Between Diabetes and Depression: A Narrative Review." The odds ratio by some 10%. Undiagnosed diabetes increases the odds ratio of developing depression by some 30%. So it's really important to recognize, but so common, and many of these people feel lousy. And again, it's this vicious cycle where because they feel crappy.
And then what? You're going to continue in that behavior because you feel crappy? The moment you start feeling crappy, you cut it out. That's what I did. Come on.
They're self-medicating with junk food or alcohol, which is families. People talk about, well, my mother was depressed, or my mother was anxious, or my father is significantly depressed. And you do some deeper digging, and their father and brain-derived tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF-alpha. So what this means is that if you binge...
All right, friends, I got to take this call. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. This is ridiculous. There's just not more to say on this video. Why isn't the front page news? Because it's not. It's not, because the news, it's already there. It doesn't need to be front page. Everybody knows it's a drug. See you later, man.